Hello guys, welcome again. So I will be working on lab 9 today. The objective of this lab is to learn how to identify files with SID, and that is set user ID and set group IDs permissions in the Linux operating system. These are very special permissions that allow programs to run with elevated privilege and are commonly used in system utilities. A typical example of this is when you want to modify your password. This file is actually the user slash bin slash password file, which has to modify the shadow file, but just the root user can do that. So how do we allow a typical user to do that? Well, we can allow that user to run the file to modify the password with the root privileges. Yeah, so that's the concept of set UID and set GID. So set UID is for user and set group GID is for groups. So the typical example is just like I have a program and I want other people to execute the program with my own permission, because maybe they don't have the permission to execute that file with their own permissions. So to find these files, this lab focuses around finding how to find these files. So first of all, you can use the find. In this lab, you can use the find utility or system program in order to get all files with the sticky bit, and this is going to write them to a file called SUID this. So this is my operating system here. This is my Linux. I am on Ubuntu. So if I run this and I do ls, there I go, I find that file, and this is just to print out the head of the file, like yeah, and you can see some of the files. No, well, let me just print all of it, SUID, and there you go, you can see all of these files. And a typical example of that file is like you see this, which can be executed just by the root user. Most of these are just root users. Then we have Samsung. All right, this was an example. So I can see you as Samsung. I have a user called Samsung. I would prefer to use David today. Yeah. So if I have a user called David, if I as David, then I create a file, say david.david file.sh, and now I can assign an SIUID to this file called as David. So this file will be executed now with permissions, and just to check that, David, there you go. So I've created a file that will be executed using David's permissions. And if I exit that, and let me exit that so that I come back to the root user, and I'm going to find again these files, but I'm going to write them to this second file called SUID GID files 2, not 1 actually, because here you can see I have 1. This is 8. So if I execute this one now and I check that again, and now have 2 of them, and I can use these again. I can still use her head SUID 2, and now you can see that Samsung's David file is included because I wrote to this one, and I can actually check the results, of course. So if I do this, you can see that the result is David. Yeah, so this is me showing you how to locate these files using the Linux operating system, and thank you for watching.